Hey, this is K. Rashekar Rao from CSC department. Today we are going to learn about data mining and its prerequisites along with the basic information related to data mining. Okay, so first we will start with prerequisites for data mining. So what are the prerequisites of data mining? Here, what actually this data mining is. Okay, data mining is about mining the information or mining the data. So when we are trying to mine the data, first of all, we need to store the data. Okay, whatever the data we are storing in the data warehouses or databases or different storage repositories. Okay, from that stored data, we are going to extract or we are going to mine the information. That is what actually the data mining is. So first, we are going to learn a brief about database, data warehouse, and other basic prerequisites. Then we will go to the data mining part. First, a database. What actually is the database? So the database system is used in traditional way of storing and retrieving the data. Mean the basic or traditional way of storing the data. Whatever the data the user is going to create, that data is going to be stored in a database. Okay, and the basic task of the database system is mainly query processing, means processing the data. So what you are going to do in a database, first the process is about two parts. The first part is storing the data into the database. Once the data is stored in the database, you are going to extract the data that is required for the end user by using the query. That's why the major task of database is query processing. So storing the data as well as retrieving the data will be done by queries. Okay, and these systems, database systems, will be normally referred as online systems, online transaction process. So we say online transaction processing system. Okay, they follow the OLTP process. Okay, so and this system, the database system, is going to be used day to day. Okay, live data, whatever the data we are going to store in the database will be called as live data, because whatever the transactions that we are going to perform live in the present days, today, tomorrow, or yesterday, whatever the data is there, that operations are done. Okay, that's why we are going to say the data stored in a database is live data that is stored in the database, and the day-to-day operations will be performed here. Okay, in the database. Now we'll go to the our actual part. Okay, the starting point of data mining, that is data warehouse. So what is a data warehouse? Data warehouse is a place where a large amount of data is stored. So then here we have to understand what actually is the difference between database and data warehouse. Okay, database is a small repository, whereas data warehouse is a huge, very huge repository. Okay, that we will discuss. Okay, and it is meant for the users or knowledge workers in the role of data analysis and decision making. The basic use here is not online transaction process, but it is for data analysis and decision making. Okay, that's why normally this system is referred to as online analytical processing. Means the basic use of this data warehouse is analytical processing, analysis purpose. Okay, so when we try to store the data, it is depending upon the purpose, depending upon the organization, or depending upon the data we are going to store. Okay, that is the information related to data warehouse. Now, what is the definition of a data warehouse? So this is the definition of a data warehouse. A data warehouse is a subject-oriented, integrated, time-variant, and non-volatile collection of data in support of management's decision-making process. Means first point of the definition, it is subject-oriented. When you store the data in the data warehouse, depending upon the subject, we are going to store the information. Means what kind of information we have and that depending upon the subject, you are going to divide the data. Okay, first part. Second part is integrated. Means whatever the data we are going to store in the data warehouse is integrated, means collected from different repositories. Okay, different repositories in the sense we can say database. Database also can come under a database. Okay, so databases, different storage repositories, servers. Okay, normal systems. Okay, a laptop, you can say desktop system, you can say whatever the storage units are there at present, all can be come under this data warehouse. So collection from multiple repositories, that is integrated. And time variant. Next point, third point is time variant. Time variant means the data that is stored will be related or dependent upon time. Okay, last month's data, last year's data, or yesterday's data, means depending upon the time. Okay, the data will be stored. And non-volatile. Non-volatile means the data that is stored will not be destroyed or will be safe. Will have multiple repositories. Okay, replicated data that I want to say. So replicated data will be stored in different locations. And one more point here is the data that is stored should be able to increment by itself. Means by itself means what it should be whatever the data warehouse is there. You can add. It should be in a position to add more and more data to its warehouse. Okay, that's what the properties of a data warehouse is. Okay, so this is the data warehouse architecture. Means first, from the right side, if you see, the users are going to request. Okay, the users are going to request some information for analysis purpose. So for decision making. Okay, and what actually will be there is the data warehouse can be divided into different units called as data marts. Okay, what actually is a data mart? Data mart is a small unit of a data warehouse where similar kind of information is stored. Similar kind of information is stored in the data mart. Okay, and data warehouse. The data can be stored either in the data marts or can be stored in the data warehouse. Now, what does the data warehouse consist of? Metadata, summary data, and raw data. Metadata means the information related to the actual data that is stored in a database. Okay, using the metadata only, we are going to search the data. Okay, that helps. Metadata helps in searching the data within the warehouse. And summary data in the sense it's like an index. Okay, summary data will be like an index. And then raw data mean whatever the data which is uploaded to a data warehouse, it will be stored as it is. That data is called as raw data. Means that is not pure. Okay, impure data. Okay, we have to filter or we have to purify the data to execute our requirements or our queries here. Okay, next. Then storage area during ETA, extract, transform, and load. Means whatever the data is stored in the data sources, means different repositories, data repositories. See here, the first figure, data sources. The data will be stored in different formats and using different operations. Okay, different operations. We are going to extract the data and we are going to purify the data and we are going to execute the query, and finally we are going to send it the final data to the end users. Okay, that is what we are going to do in our data mining structure. Okay, so see, first the definition related to a data mart. What is a data mart? As I already told you, a data mart is a simple form of data warehouse that is focused on a single subject. Means what uh, information related to the students, or purchases of cars, or purchases of bikes, that is sales of cars, sales of bikes. Okay, different any subject. Okay, take any subject. So data mart consists of the whole data related to the subject. So we are going to have different subjects. So the data warehouse can be divided into different data marts. That is about the data mart with smaller units of the data warehouse. That is what is a data mart. Okay. This is the definition of a data warehousing. Again, one more definition. Data warehousing is a process that aggregates structured data from one or more sources so that it can be compared and analyzed for greater business intelligence. So we are going to store, and basically the data can be compared or analyzed for business intelligence purpose. See, next definition comes here is metadata. What actually the metadata is? As I said, actually the basic definition will be about data about data means what? What is meant by the data about the data? Means whatever the data that is stored in a data warehouse, that data's information will be stored as metadata, okay, as a separate unit of storage. So what does the data warehouse, metadata consists of? These are the things that we have in the data warehouse metadata. The location and descriptions of data warehouse systems and components, which in which part of the data warehouse, what kind of information is available. Names, definitions, structures, and content of the data warehouse. What are the different names of information that is stored? Definitions, how the data is stored, structures, in what format the data is stored. Okay, likewise, okay, the information is stored in the metadata. And identification of authoritative data sources, where the information is located, where the information that is requested by the end user is located. That can be that information is available in the metadata. And integration and transformation rules to use popular data. Whatever the operations that we are going to apply on the data, okay, those rules and regulations, structure rules will be available in the metadata. Okay, the next point is also same thing almost. Integration and transformation rules used to deliver information to end user analytical tools. What kind of tools and how to use it? What kind of tools that are required to extract our information from the data warehouse, and how to use it? What are the rules to use them? That information also can be stored in the metadata. Subscription information of information delivery to analysis subscribers. So how the data is stored, who has stored the data, where to deliver the information, all these kinds of information also will be stored here. Metrics used to analyze warehouses usage and performance. What are the metrics that are used in storing the data warehouse? Okay, that thing. Security authorizations, access control list, etc. And when the data is stored, we need to apply the security methods and how to access them. Okay, that kind of information, different security measures that we are going to use, all these data also will be stored here. And last point is metadata used for building, maintaining, managing, and using the data warehouse. Metadata allows users access to help understand the content and find the data. So how to build the data warehouse, how to maintain the data warehouse, how to manage it. Okay, and different using the different data warehouses. Okay, that kind of information will be stored in the metadata, and basically the main usage is to access the data by the user. Okay, that will be help. Okay, that is the actual information about metadata. Now, what is the difference between database and a data warehouse? Okay, we already said database is also used to store the data as well as the data warehouse. But the basic difference is, when I say database, You can store the data as well as you can extract the data from the database. But in the data warehouse, we have two different units that are used for storing and extracting. The unit that used to store the data, we call it as a data warehouse. First part, okay, that's what I mean. And second part is data mining, because it is a very huge subject. So that is divided into two parts. First, storing the data into your data warehouse. That is the first part. And second part is extracting the data or mining the data as the second part. Okay. So now first let us see what is the difference between the database and a data warehouse. See, a database is a collection of related data that represents some elements of the real world, whereas data warehouse is an information system that stores historical and commutative data for single or multiple sources. From mean here, just database is just a collection of data. That's all. Okay. In terms of data tables, we are going to correct. But in a data warehouse, whatever the data is stored, it is an information that is stored. Okay, it will be like the information that is stored, which is used for, as we discussed earlier, analysis and prediction. Here, data mining is basically used for analysis and prediction. So for that part, we are going to store the data in the database. So second difference, database is designed to record the data, whereas data warehouse is designed to analyze the data. Means database is used to store the data, whereas data warehouse, the data is stored for analysis purpose, analyzing purpose. Next difference, database, it is an application oriented. Okay, application oriented, whereas data warehouse is subject oriented. Subject, depending upon the subject, we are going to store the data in the data warehouse, whereas in the database, it depends upon application. A bank data will be stored in the bank database. Okay, a company data will be stored in the company database. But when we come to the data warehouse, it's not like a company, bank data or company data. All the business related to bikes, or there is one subject. All the information related to sales of cars is one subject, or all the PhD details of all the PhD holders in India, that is one subject. So it is subject oriented. Database is a subject oriented. Now, database uses online transaction processing, whereas data warehouse uses online analytical processing. So processing method, database uses transactional process, whereas the data warehouse uses analytical process. Okay. Now, here database tables and joins are complicated because they are normalized, whereas data warehouse tables and joins are easy because they are denormalized. In a database, the tables and joins that we use here, okay, will be complicated because the data is normalized. Okay, normalization will be applied over the data tables in the database, whereas data warehouse, normal data will be stored, that is denormalized data will be stored in the data tables and joins. Okay, whereas modeling techniques we use here in database, we are going to use ER models, data models. Okay, here we are going to use ER models in a database, whereas data modeling techniques, that is schemas, star schema, snowflake schema, and fact constellation schema. Likewise, we are going to use in a data warehouse. Let us start with whatever the things that we have learned earlier are prerequisites, the basic introduction, information required to understand the topic of data mining. Now, let us have a brief introduction here in this class about introduction to data mining. What actually the data mining is. Data mining means, what is data mining? Refers to extracting the data or mining the knowledge from large amounts of data. Here we discussed the differences between data warehouse and database. So data warehouse is more comparatively, Okay, comparatively, we'll have a small amount of information will be stored in a database, whereas in a data warehouse, a huge, very huge amount of data will be stored. So, either we can say data mining refers as extracting or mining the knowledge. Okay, so many people treat data mining as synonym for another popular term, knowledge discovery from data, or KDD. Data mining also can be referred as the KDD process, that is knowledge discovery from data. Here, just remember this point, data is different from knowledge. Okay, data is different from knowledge. So here in a data mining, when I try to extract the information, I'm not going to extract the data, but I'm going to extract the knowledge. Okay, I'm going to extract the knowledge. So how to extract the knowledge? We will have a 7-step process called as KDD process. Okay, 7-step process called as KDD process. This is the basic diagram for KDD process. So we'll have a basic introduction to this KDD process, and we'll stop this lecture here. Okay, so what actually we'll have in KDD process? KDD process consists of 7 steps, out of which first 4 steps below comes under data pre-processing. Comes under the terminology called as data pre-processing. What comes under data pre-processing? Data cleaning, data integration, data selection, and data transformation. First 4 points. Okay, first 4 processing comes under data pre-processing methods. So what actually is data pre-processing? So as we discussed earlier, whatever the data that is stored in the data warehouse is impure or raw data. Which is not purified. So first task for us is to purify the data. Okay, purify the data. Once we purify the data, then we can extract the information. Okay, using the queries. So what are the 4 steps of pre-processing? First, as I said, data cleaning. So what you do in this data cleaning method? Here we are going to remove the noise and inconsistent data. Means the data which is not perfect to the actual required information. Noise means blank data, unwanted data, okay, and inconsistent data kind of information we are going to remove from the data. Okay, next comes is second point, data integration. What we are going to do in this data integration? As we already said, a data warehouse is a collection of data from different multiple repositories. Data warehouse is not a single unit of data source. It is a collection of multiple data sources, multiple data repositories. So data integration. In this data integration, what we are going to do is we are going to combine the data from different data repositories. Okay, we are going to combine from different data repositories. That is data integration. Next, third point is data selection. Data selection means, okay, we have cleaned the data and we have integrated the data and we have made it as a single unit. Okay, we have made it as a single unit. Now, then what we are going to do? Means from the data, we are going to select the relevant data, whatever the information that is required for us. Only that part of information we are going to extract from the given available data. Okay, that we are going to do the data selection. Then next is data transformation. What we are going to do in this data transformation process? In this data transformation process, here, whatever the data we are storing here, as we said in the second part, data integration, we are collecting from the different data repositories. Okay, different repositories means when we collect the information from different repositories, Okay, we are not sure that the data will be similar and same data, same format, same structure. So we have to transform into that particular data into any one of the consistent form. Okay, we have to convert the data into any one of the consistent form. That consistency can be achieved in this data transformation. Okay, where the data will be converted into any one of the form. Then so once the fourth point is completed, means our pre-processing methods are completed. Then we have got our purified data. Now the data is pure. Now then we are going to mine the data. So to mine the data means we are going to execute a query. So what query we are going to execute? We cannot execute the query normal database queries. SQL queries we cannot use it. Further, a special kind of query is there, that is DMQL, that is data mining query language. Okay, data mining query language. Using the data mining query language, we are going to write the query and execute the query. So in the fifth step, we are going to execute the query, data mining process. Okay, data mining means we are going to execute the query. Then after executing the query, what we are going to get? We are going to get the data, not knowledge. Okay, we are going to get the data. Once we get the data, then we are going to apply next method, next process, pattern evaluation. So means to the data, we are going to apply different kinds of patterns, that is interestingness patterns and other interestingness measures. Then apply the pattern and we are going to get the next level data. And finally, knowledge presentation. Knowledge presentation means, so when we apply the sixth process, you are going to get the knowledge. Then in the seventh process, what we are going to do is present that particular knowledge to the end users. How to present? In what format we are going to present the data? Okay, that can be done in different visualization formats or graphical representations and other representations. Okay, like somebody wants as a pie chart, okay, or histograms or bar graph, whatever it is. Okay, in what format you want, in that format, we are going to represent the data to the end user. That is what we are going to do in KDD process. So mining is not a single step process, it's a 7-step process. First 4 steps, as I said, is used for purification. That is the data pre-processing methods. Then mine the data. After mining, we are going to get the normal data. Then we are going to apply pattern evaluation methods so that you are going to get the knowledge. And finally, in the last step, you are going to represent that data to the end user. That is what a KDD process is. That is what we are going to do in our data mining. So with this KDD process, we'll stop our class here. Thank you.